This is a solo episode. All right, hold on. We got to do this right. And...
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello. All right, and we're live, and we're recording, whichever one you're listening to us from. Hi, this is I am Nary Signs. With me, as usual, is nobody. Nobody's actually with me today. Today, this is a solo episode. So far, I've invited a few people on to be on with me. Send them the link to be included in the conversation. Some people said that they might try to get on. Some people said, "Oh, I want to get on. I just got to see what's going on." Our regular hosts are not here. Co-hosts, our regular co-hosts, Stephanie and Mike are not here. And if there's anyone watching or listening, just know that we are still going to play Where Are They? Which is a game that we will play whenever there's somebody or the usual cast missing. We usually play Where Are They? Because then we decide to invent creative ways, creative places that they may be or things they may be doing. So this is a solo episode, very much like Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, except you don't have a top tier comedian. You have me. This is way harder, by the way, than anything else that I've done. Like I've done shows, I've done stand-up shows in front of thousands of people, and doing a solo podcast, which I've done before, long time ago on previous episodes of this very podcast. Years ago I've done it, and it's very difficult because a lot of times you create a list of like topics that you're going to talk about, and then you're like, this is what I'm going to say, and then what ends up happening is you go through that list in like 7 minutes. So it's going to be an issue. I'm going to try to do an hour. That's the goal, is to do an hour, to get an hour. I don't know if we're going to have a co-host come in or a guest come in, so that's going to be a fun thing. I love the fact that I'm able to see how many people are logged in now. And when I said that we don't have anybody else coming in, the numbers just went bloop, 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 down. And some of you are sticking around because you're like, I want to see how this turns out. I want to see this train wreck happen live. So we have a couple things that I wanted to talk to you that want to talk about right now. And I know a lot of you thinking to yourself, why don't you just reschedule or just not do an episode? That's not the way it works. We don't do that. My goal is to put out an episode of the podcast every week this year, this calendar year, 2022. That is my goal, and I am shooting for it. I was supposed to do it yesterday, and we couldn't do it. So for scheduling purposes. And I gotta say, the last 5 weeks, this is my 5th week in a row of being on cruise ships, and that hasn't been easy for the scheduling purposes for everything else, but just for scheduling a podcast, it's a little difficult, and the Wi-Fi has been choppy at sometimes. Anyway, but I'm here now, and that's what matters, right? I guess I'm hoping. If you want to jump in, just know that you could comment. Anything you comment, I will be able to see live. I will be able to see and then we could talk, and then you could help me out a little bit, right? We could talk about that. So for those of you who are watching, and I know the number, I see the number right now. I can see it right now. Join me. Give me something to talk about. We're going to talk about right now. The thing on that was trending was Ezra Miller. For those of you who don't know, Ezra Miller is the actor that is in the prequel series to the Harry Potter movies. And my wife is gonna be like, "How do you forget that?" I forget the name of the prequel series. But he plays a pivotal role in that, and then he also plays the Flash in Zack Snyder's DC universe and Warner Brothers DC universe. It's not even Zack Snyder's anymore because DC, being the idiots that they are, again, uh, but he got in trouble over the weekend, and he was in Hawaii, and he got charged with assault and battery, I believe, or assault and I forget the exact thing, but um, so he was at a bar and there was karaoke going on, and he starts yelling out obscenities, just yelling at people randomly, which is weird because usually famous people just want to be like, "Don't leave me alone." They hide behind hats and all that jazz. But Ezra Miller said, "Nope, I'm upset." And the thing is, none of the articles that I read talked about what he said specifically. They just said that he was badgering and yelling. And at one point, he walked on stage and snatched the microphone from one of the girls, which was the first charge. And then the second charge is that he allegedly ran to somebody who was playing darts and like was running towards them, and then like I don't know if he tackled them, I don't know what he did. So that's that, man. So now the rumor was Rolling Stones issued a statement saying that they have sources saying that Warner Brothers has put on an emergency meeting about Ezra Miller to see what's going to happen with the Flash, because the movie The Flash, I believe, is already done, and I think they're just doing like posts right now, or like I don't know if they're what they're doing, but I believe for the most part it's done, it's filmed. Uh, and so now it's this topic is trending on Twitter of like what to do. A lot of fans are calling for Grant Gustin, which plays the Flash on a TV show, to like come and step in and play the Flash. Now remember that this movie is basically going to be doing the the multiverse, the Flash. Man, I'm having a brain fart here of what it's called. That it's a story arc in DC Comics, a very famous story arc that's been 1,000 years of like the Flash going through the multiverse and how he discovered the multiverse. So it's possible, and Ezra Miller did appear as the Flash in an episode a couple of years ago of the TV show The Flash, to show the many multiverse of of like Barry Allen's. Something that the show has done for years now, has talked about multiverses and different worlds and different universes. So there's been multiple Barry Allens on the show, and it's been established. So it wouldn't be crazy if Warner Brothers decided to say, "Hey, this actor is giving us grief," or for whatever reason, even if they just said, "Hey, let's do this just to be cool," I would be all for it as a fan of the comics and the show and the movies. But also as a business standpoint, at what point do you like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for giving second chances. I'm not saying that this is definitely a fireable offense. There's been a lot worse. Let's be real. But my question is, at what point as a business do you say, let's stick with this and let's not, like, at what point does it not hurt your brand? So that's an interesting take. So Twitter's going bananas and crazy over, getting Grant Gustin to trying to sign petitions and do all that. I don't know if there's any. I don't know. This would be a great question. Has there ever been a petition, an online petition, that has gotten actual results? Like, real talk. And what I mean by actual results, I mean like actually moved the needle and done something right. I know the hashtag, the Snyderverse thing, I know that got them to release a Snyder cut. So I know that is a possibility, but that wasn't really a petition. That wasn't really like sign the petition and all that. So my question is, do we know of any petition that's been, any online petition that's been made that's actually gotten results? I know 1,000 years ago, I'm sure like it was like 5 years ago, whatever the last time or the first time that Betty White hosted the Oscars, it was started by one person, started, hey, we should get Betty White to host. I'm sorry, not the Oscars, SNL, to host Saturday Night Live. One person started. And I know that because she named him in her opening monologue. I don't know if that was exactly an online petition or if that was just something that he said, that person said, and just started growing on the internet. But I'm interested in knowing if any online petition has actually gotten results. Has actually like like the powers that be like, wow, 37 million bots bots have gotten on this. I guess I don't know. Like it's a weird thing because like now it goes to like how many friends do you have, and it goes to social media, and so that's a weird kind of thing to have. So I'm interested in knowing that. But I don't know about Ezra Miller, man. I feel bad about him. I feel bad for him. He's obviously going through some shit. I don't want to make fun of the guy for going, but he's obviously going through some shit. And I don't know. I don't know. I hope for the best and I wish him the best. And as a fan of the movies, here's the thing: the movies is the least of it for multiple reasons. Obviously, a human being matters more than movies, but the movie because he's in the specific project that he's in, being the Flash. This is like one of those things where it could happen. Like you could easily Flashpoint. That was the name of the story arc. Because he's in Flash, and the movie The Flash has been wildly guessed to like people are assuming that it's going to be a Flashpoint movie because it has Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck both playing Batman. If there was a time to change an actor midway through a movie, this would be the time, and this would be the movie to do it. So it'd be interesting. I kind of creatively I would like to see them do it just to see them do it. Like nothing against Ezra, and he's going through some shit, and I'm with thoughts are with him, but I'm kind of interested in knowing if that would be a thing, like if that should be a thing. I don't know. So there's that. For the local people, everybody in Miami has been talking about this for the last couple of days. Alex Rodriguez was on in an interview. I believe it was a podcast or some kind. He was on an interview and he talked about being from the hood. These are his words. I grew up in the hood. He said, I grew up right here in the hood in a neighborhood called Kendall. Now, if you're not from South Florida, I'll fill you in. Kendall is not the hood. And by any stretch of the imagination, the only people who call it the hood are 13-year-old kids living in Kendall who think like they're shortening it from the neighborhood, but hood in the sense of like poverty and in the sense of like no, it's not the slums of Miami by any stretch of the imagination. I live really close to it. I went to high school in Kendall. Like it's not the hood by any stretch of the imagination. And Miami went crazy. They were like, that's not the hood. Here's the ironic part of it. All right. If you've gone to a show of mine in the last 15 years, specifically in Miami, if you've been to any of my shows in Miami in the last 15 years, there's a good chance you may have heard me do my joke. And the only reason I say this is because it's the only place I can say this. It's a joke that I have where I say I grew up right here in Miami. I grew up in the hood, South Central, Sweetwater. Sometimes I sub it out for South Central Doral, which again, those are suburbs of Miami that are very much not the hood. They're as much the hood as Kendall is. And I find it ironic and funny that I've been saying this joke and it kills. And always, again, it's a local joke. It's a local reference joke. If you've ever seen me perform comedy anywhere that's not Miami, you've never heard me say that. And I'm not saying that I've only said that I've always said that in Miami, but I've only said that joke in Miami. And I'm telling you, man, that joke always gets a good reaction because people know how ridiculous that sounds. And I wrote that 15 years ago, 15 plus, with the idea of like how ridiculous does that sound, that South Central Sweetwater, South Central Doral, South Central Kendall, that's ridiculous. That's not, those aren't bad neighborhoods. And this motherfucker, Alex Rodriguez, future Hall of Famer, maybe? Question mark, because he did steroids. He's here talking about this and he's pawning this shit off. And if you're not from South Florida, if you're not from Miami, and somebody from Miami tells you, yeah, I grew up in the hood, Kendall, you're gonna believe it, right? Like if I'm not from anywhere, like wherever, like if I'm trying to come up with a place that I also know, but if I wasn't from Miami and you said that, I would immediately believe you. I'm like, okay, if that's what the hood is, that's what the hood is. Who am I to question that? And then is there really like an app where can you Google like where is the hood in Miami? Like, is there really something that you can actually Google? That would be pretty cool. Of like Hood Finder, get a Hood Finder app. You get a Hood Finder app, and that would be pretty cool to be like, this is where the hood is. So it tells you, and then it has like a little, on the app, built-in app. It has a little sundial, tell you like when it's gonna get dark in the hood, when the sun's going down. To be like, hey, whatever delicious food you're eating, if you're not from here, you may not want to be here. And I say that because I've had that told to me. I went to LA and we were in Compton and we were having chicken and waffles, and I was with a bunch of other comedians. We were all having a good time, and they literally, and I thought they were fucking with me. They literally said, "Hey, it's gonna," and we got 2 hours before we have to get out of here. And I was like, "Oh, do they close in 2 hours?" Like I thought that's what they were talking about, closing, like the restaurant. And they're like, "No, dude, you don't want to be. We can't be here." They didn't even say you don't want to. They said we can't be in Compton after like the sun goes down. And I thought that was a joke, but they were not fucking laughing. So, but you could do that with the app. You could do a hood finder. We could do a hood finder app, and then we could put that in there, and then you could put the location of all the great places to eat, which is fantastic. There was a chicken and waffle place in Phoenix when I did a show in Phoenix. That this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. They had Kool-Aid on tap. On fucking tap. Like it wasn't made in a powder. I'm sure it was, but they had it on tap, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. Right. And then when you order it on the receipt, it says Kool-Aid and then it says red, which that's the staple of when you know it's good Kool-Aid. Because if you go somewhere and you go, hey, what do you have to drink? And they go, oh, we have Kool-Aid. And you're like, oh, what kind? And they say cherry, get the fuck out. That's garbage Kool-Aid. That's garbage. You don't want that. You want someone to tell you red Kool-Aid or purple or orange, whatever color it is, but they tell you a flavor, it's a clear sign of it not being quality, the high standard of Kool-Aid that I'm used to. But it was fantastic. The food was good. So I think we should do Hood Finder. Get the Hood Finder app. It'd be be a lot of fun. But you know what you wouldn't find in the Hood Finder app? You wouldn't find Kendall, because in Miami, Kendall is not the hood. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not the hood. Alex Rodriguez. And now, like, this is the cool part now. All right. So I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Rodriguez as a human being. He just always comes off as fake. And that interview kind of proved it. Like, he's just trying to be something he's not. He's always come off as fake. He's always given really bad interviews, and he's giving like really robotic answers to stuff. But so he's not the most, doesn't come off in the best light. I don't even care that he did steroids. As a sports fan, I don't care about that. But I will say, the cool thing is, and I think yesterday he came out with a picture. He posted a picture of him with a hoodie, and like giving the peace sign, and it's saying "straight out of Kendall," which is obviously he's now in on the joke, which I thought was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. As again, not a big fan of his, but the fact that he did that, I thought was pretty cool. So we had that. What was the other thing? See what I'm talking about? It's only been 18 minutes. 18 minutes, including the intro music, which has been another minute. Like, this is crazy to me how Bill Burr does this. This is how talented you have to be able to just keep going and talking, by yourself without having any kind of feedback, without having anybody like laugh and be like, oh, that was funny, or that was a good topic, or that was something to bounce off of. So it's pretty bonkers, man. More fallout from the Will Smith or Will Smythe, as some like to say. Some like to say Smythe. It's the Smythe. The Smythe family. No, they are saying, so now Netflix is the only one who's come out and verbally said, or not verbally, but I put out a statement saying that they've put their Will Smythe project on hold, that they don't know what's going to happen, which I think is very extreme. I think that's we've talked about, in the previous episode we talked about the slap, and we talked about what we thought and all that, and obviously he agrees he was wrong, right? I'm not saying anything new. I don't think anybody's really defending Will Smith for what he did at the Oscars when he did it, but I will say it was wrong. He says it was wrong, but I will say I think this is too much. Like, you're gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Even with Ezra Miller, I don't know if this is necessarily enough to get him pulled off the projects. But there's at least a question, like, what can we do? But with Will Smith, you have a 30-year career of like impeccable like number one at the box office. I think 11 times in a row, his 11 movies in a row, they debuted at number one in the box office opening weekend. He was again, and he's always been about positivity. He's always been about love, and I get shit on for this all the time as well. Personally, not to make this about me, but it's my podcast, and what the fuck. But I get this all the time. People shit on me, my friends and Conrads, and other comedians because I'm super what they call corny, and I'm fine with being corny. I don't mind being corny, but what they call corny is just like I like being positive. I don't like being negative. I'm not an angry dude. I try not to be an angry guy, and not to say that I never get angry. That's crazy talk. That's who doesn't ever get angry? Of course they get angry. But I don't. It doesn't come off of my comedy. My comedy's not bitter and angry. My comedy's not that. And again, my favorite comedian right now is Bill Burr, and his comedy is filled with piss and vinegar, which is fantastic and phenomenal because that works for him and that's great. It's just not my style for myself. Ask me right now who the best stand-up comedian in the world is, and I tell you it's Bill Burr. Who's had the best specials? I'll tell you it's Bill Burr. It's not, you know what I mean? I don't have to just because it's my favorite doesn't mean that I have to embody it. And just because I think it's the best doesn't mean that it's because of, you know what I mean? Only selfish people are like, well, I like the comedians who are most like me. I'm not that dude. So I've been called corny and cheesy because of that, because I love, I love my family and I love my wife and stuff that, so it gets to that thing. But Will Smith has had a 30 plus year career of being super positive, of being all about love and then he had a moment where he messed up and he acknowledges he messed up. My question is that enough should Netflix put a hold to their projects with him? Like, I think that's too much. I don't know if they're trying to do, and I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're trying to do like, let's let this die down before we announce anything. Because I'm sure if they would have, maybe in their mind, if they would have just said from the beginning, like, no, we're gonna continue with him, ride or die, I think it would have been, people would have like scratched their head, like, really? But I think they should have said, well, we're gonna take a look into it and see what's going on, and say basically what I said. This guy's had a 30 plus year career of stellar, amazing treatment of people. Something that I could vouch for on a personal level, right? The way he treated me those 2 days that I met him, it was amazing. So right up there. I'm telling you, man, that day that I met Will Smith, the 2 days that I hung out with him and helped him with his book and I heard him talking, those 2 days ranks right up there without exaggeration. I mean, you take away the birth of my children, because that's everybody's go-to. Any parents go-to is the birth of my children. But you take that away, and me meeting and hanging out with Smith those couple of days ranks right up there for me. With me going to the Super Bowl like that and watching my favorite team play the Super Bowl, even though they lost, I get it. But those were magical moments to me in my life. Those are keystone moments where I'm like, oh my God, that happened. That really happened to me. And those are really, I'm trying to think of other days that don't include my family, because that's, again, unfair advantage, man. That don't include my family. I'm trying to think of other moments like that, because you have the birth of my children. You have, I love the day that I got married. And there's a lot of days that I spent at Disney, again, with my family, with my wife. So those days should not count towards the top days of your life list, because it's your family. It should be, right? That's the way it should be. But aside from take away the family, me meeting and hanging out with Will Smith and Super Bowl top today. So I'm just saying, should it be that his projects get canceled? Bad Boy 4, I believe, was now that was like in pre-production or something, or I Am Legend 2. There's no word yet from the studios about these movies. These are the movies that he has coming out. It's Bad Boys 4 or future projects. Bad Boy 4, I Am Legend 2 with that's co-written by and starring Michael B. Jordan, which sounds fucking, sign me up, dude. I'm in. I'm a big fan of the original I Am Legend, of the movie of his, Will Smith's I Am Legend. Because it was originally called the Omni-Man, and there's other movies. It's based on I think a book. But Will Smith's I Am Legend, I am a big fan of that movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I actually dug it. A lot of people do not like the fact that he died at the end, which again would make it for an interesting sequel. Like, what twist are you gonna add to be able to bring him back? And this would be interesting. But I am all for it. I like that movie. I dug that movie. I like. There's a lot of Will Smith movies that I like that are like I want to say under the radar movies for him because everybody always thinks of Men in Black, Independence Day, and those are great. I'm not taking anything away from those. But my favorites are his dramatic roles. What he did with Ali was phenomenal. What he did in 7 Pounds. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie 7 Pounds, but it was fantastic. Oh, gut wrenching. It was so good. Oh, we got everything. From we got a comment from Roy Rock. Everything is happening too fast. I think you're right. He's saying Roy says actors need to be held accountable for their actions the same way we are held. We treat this celebrity as if they are untouchable. I well, okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. I don't think we're treating him any differently because if you fuck up at work, even let's say Roy, I'm assuming you're with the whole he should have been arrested thing, and that's a valid point. I'm not saying I don't. Uh, I think that's a bit much, but okay, you assault somebody at your job, you go to jail, okay? But you're out the next day, so let's be real. It's fine. You're out in a couple hours. It's not it's a simple assault charge. It's not crazy. But will you automatically get fired from your job? Some jobs, yes, you would. Absolutely. Ray, I'm sorry. I say Ray. By the way, I swear to God, I'm just blind. It's not you. Ray Rock. I'm sorry. I apologize, Ray. Um, so yeah, would you get fired from your job automatically, or would you be suspended, or would it be, you know what I mean? Would that be some jobs? Yeah, some jobs you're right. You would be automatically fired and done for. But I'm not treating this case with Will Smith. I'm not treating it differently because he's a celebrity. What I'm saying is there's 30 years of history of him being a great person, and then there's one fuck up, and it was a huge fuck up, and it was in the biggest moment of possible. And I mean, if you're gonna fuck up, the Oscars is not the time to do it, right? I get it. I'm with you on that. I'm saying, what is it reasonable to think that he's never going to get work again because he fucked up that one time? And that makes it difficult, man. And makes it like, how, where do you go? Like, you know what I mean? There's good arguments on both sides. I get you, Ray. I get you, man. If you say fuck him and I never want to see another Will Smith movie again, I think that's a bit extreme personally, but I get you. No, I wouldn't be against you, but I'm definitely not holding him less accountable because he's a celebrity. What I'm saying is let's take into consideration his 30-year history. If this was a Joe Blow actor, I wouldn't say like, oh look, he's a celebrity, so we have to treat him differently. I'm like, no, let's look at his track record. Let's look at what does he have a history of being of this, like Russell Crowe, perfect example. Russell Crowe has had a lot of past experience of violent outbursts against people. He threw the phone and cracked some hotel attendant's head, and that was a thing. So if he did that at the Oscars, if he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, which by the way would be funnier, I think if I don't know why I just laughed at that idea of Russell Crowe slapping Chris Rock. I think, but I think it would be either way. It would be wrong. But then you would take into account, hey man, that's his history. He's done it before, so maybe there's that cancel. I'm not quick for the cancel culture, is what I'm saying. Ray says, if Ezra is fired, who would you recommend to be the Flash or why? I think Grant Gustin has to be your guy, man. I think if you don't want to go with Grant because you don't want to do the TV thing, I get it. But the character of the Flash is the perfect character to have. If you're gonna swap actors midway in the movie, that's the perfect character because they have the multiverse. They have like, oh, he's played, you know what I mean? They did it with Quicksilver in the show, the TV shows, in the Wanda series, Vision of Wanda or Wanda and Vision, WandaVision, that's what it's called. And everybody thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread. It was like, oh, it's so cool. They changed the actor, and he was the Quicksilver actor in the X-Men movies. That wasn't a Marvel and yada yada yada. But I think you have to go with Grant Gustin. Now, if you don't want to go with Grant Gustin, if you think that's a cheating move, I get you. I totally understand. You have to go somebody young. So it would be interesting to see Who else, man? Let's Google young Hollywood actors now because again, I'm 40. So who like my go-to young Hollywood actor is no longer that young anymore is Zac Efron. Uh he was my go-to for everything. Like who do you think? Zac Efron. Who do you think? Zac Efron. Okay, so young actors, Jaden Smith. I just Googled young actors under 30, and the number two is Jaden Smith, which would be an awful decision. Even if Wally West, I know that show now has made Wally West. This is not a black thing. It's just Jaden Smith is just not a great actor. I'm sorry. He was okay in the Karate Kid movie, but he was a kid. I don't know. You know what? Shit, I might be talking myself into Jaden Smith. It's just funny because we just finished talking about his dad. I'm maybe talking myself into Jaden Smith. Fuck. A lot of these other guys, I don't even know. John Boyega, not thin enough. I think the Flash has to be a thin dude. I think he has to be a slender guy because or woman. Shit, that'd be fucking crazy, huh? You do that, throw that into that mix. Oof. Yeah. Let's see here. That, that would be interesting. Now I'm kind of thinking about Jaden Smith. Let's see here. Um, yeah, Coach Sprouse looks kind of like Ezra Miller, to be honest with you. Jaden Smith. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still with Grant Gustin from the TV show. You still got to do that, but Boyega keeps coming up. You know what? This is a real cool list because this list is on MSN, and I just googled young actors under 30, and like seven of eight or the of no 7 of the top 10 is they're all people of color, which I think is fucking phenomenal and great. Ezra Miller rounds out the top 10, which I don't know. Do we go with Tom Holland? What craziness would that be? Can we imagine Tom Holland playing the Flash? Like the Marvel fanboys would lose their ever fucking loving mind. Um uh Ray, yeah, you said Zac Efron will make a great Wolverine. I agreed. I said that years ago when Logan came out, the movie Logan came out, and it was known that Hugh Jackman was out, that he had done his last one, and I think he would be a great Wolverine. Here's the thing now. I don't know what his face looks like because I know like a year ago there was a couple images that came out that he had done some work to his face and he looks fucking really not great. And I'm not trying to body shame the guy because obviously his body's spectacular, but his face looks kind of weird. It's kind of jacked up from the surgeries. And I don't know if that was real. I don't know if that was for a movie. I don't know if it was just collagen, so it goes away after a while. So I'd be interested in knowing like what Zac Efron's face looks like now. Like that'd be interesting. Um, but Anzo Elgart, who's Anzo Elgart? Ray, help me out. Ray said is suggesting Anzo Elgart, and what was he in? How would I know him? From where would I know him? Because that would be pretty cool. But Tom Holland, I mean, come on, man, that is pretty cool if you get Tom Holland to do that shit. You know what? Finn Wolfhard from Strange Days or Stranger Days. Is it Strange Days? Strange Days or Stranger Days? I forget already. It's been so long since the show came out. Since he's yeah, Stranger Things. I said Stranger Days like an asshole. I'm so stupid. So Stranger Things, and he was also in the Ghostbusters movie. Yeah, he might actually be a good Flash. Very thin, very fragile, and that's kind of like what I imagine the Flash to be. So yeah, that would be if we're not gonna go with Grant Gustin, and I'm not even super opposed Jaden Smith anymore. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things would I think would get my vote. I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Interesting. Here's a quick question. If we cancel Will Smith from, like, let's say I Am Legend 2, do you just put in somebody else? I'd be interested in knowing the storyline. We got to know the storyline, I guess. Question we can't answer right now, but that would be an interesting story. Let's see here. We have Am I the Asshole? So usually we have Am I the Asshole? We usually do this at the hour, at the top of the when we get to an hour lane. But because this episode is only gonna be an hour, I'm doing it halfway through because it's only me, motherfuckers. This is hard. We're at 35 minutes, and let's go ahead and Am I the Asshole for reporting the pizza delivery guy for sliding a note under my girlfriend's door? Woo! Woo! I'm in. I'm in. I, 28 male, was spending the weekend with my girlfriend at her place. We decided to order some pizza, and she ordered from her usual restaurant. When the delivery guy arrived, I opened the door and he looked at me confused, then proceeded to ask where insert girlfriend's name was. And I said, "Excuse me," and asked why he was asking, and he said nothing. It was just that he's used to delivering pizza to her, and this is the first time he saw me, so he thought she moved. I told him she was busy, then took the pizza and gave him money. And while I was turning, I saw him still standing. I asked how I can help him, and he said, "Don't mind me, I'm just standing here waiting." I told him he shouldn't keep standing outside like that, and he rudely said it wasn't his property. I got angry, but didn't want to escalate. Didn't want it to escalate, so I said this wasn't public property and he should leave. I then went inside and shut the door. 10 minutes later, it's good. 10 minutes later, I caught a note getting slid under the door. I went to look and opened the door and saw the pizza guy going downstairs. I stopped him immediately and then read what the note said. He kept calling my girlfriend with her name and said that he was worried about her and how he was that he didn't see her at this time. That's what it says, man. I know people are making a job. This is what it says. He was worried about her and how sad he was. That's what he's. Fuck, I did fuck up. And how sad he was that he didn't get to see her this time. I asked if he left this note just to confirm, then told him I'd report him to his boss for his behavior. He said this wasn't for me and I'm not the owner of this place, so it was none of my business. Solid point, to be honest with you. We argued loud enough for my girlfriend to come out. I told her what he did, and she told me to leave it alone and go back inside. I said, all right then. But soon as I walked in, I called his workplace and wanted to speak to the manager. I told him what the guy did, and he promised to take care of it and said that he won't be working for them anymore. Don't know if he was just telling me that what I wanted to hear, but when I told my girlfriend, she got mad, saying I shouldn't have done this, and escalated by getting the dude fired. I asked if she was okay with what he did, and she said no. But now she can no longer order from this restaurant as they block any customer that complains. Really? Okay, that's weird. I said, maybe good riddance then. She said I overreacted and I had no right to do this when it's not even my apartment. Again, kind of what the pizza guy was saying. I didn't know what to say, but she completely shut down and refused to talk to me except to say I'm being insecure and petty. Um, Here's an edit. It says something else is going on, question mark. I don't know, but from his attitude it did seem like he knew her well enough to act this comfortably. I tried to talk to him, like asking if I could help him, but he shut me down completely, acting like I'm not even there. I wanted to get more clarification from my girlfriend, but she refused and didn't want me to pressure her. Also, I doubt the guy lost his job and also doubt my girlfriend was, quote, blocked as a customer. As for the note, it was him addressing her directly, saying he's worried and that he was sad that he didn't get to see her. That's what the note said. So that's a lot. That is a lot. Um, Oh, you're saying Ezra, and okay, so Ray said Ezra from Euphoria. I haven't watched Euphoria yet, Ray, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you that I've watched it. But it's on my list. I'm gonna watch it at one point. Just haven't watched it yet. Um, but I will say about the am I the asshole? That is a very good question to have. I is so the I think there's something else going on here. And here's the problem. If you're listening to the podcast, you know that we're not allowed to add anything that's not written on there. But I think there's something going on with the pizza delivery guy and the chick. I think the fact that he was super shocked. I get it, right? Like, oh, I was expecting, the owner of the place to answer the door because she orders from us all the time. That's one thing. But once you see a guy there, right? If the guy's her same age, you just assume that's her boyfriend or something, or brother or whatever the fuck. But yikes. I think, yeah, man. I think the guy was the asshole. I think the pollster was the asshole. Is that crazy? I think the pollster was the asshole because he complained to the boss. Like, I think if you would have just yelled at the guy and be like, "Oh, fuck yourself, fuck you, whatever," I don't think he would have been in the wrong with the girlfriend. I don't think he's the asshole with the girlfriend. But I think he's the asshole against the pizza delivery guy for calling the job. Now, he says, I doubt they fired him. How does he know that? He doesn't explain how he knows that. So that would be a good question to ask. Like, how does he know that the pizza delivery guy didn't get fired? What makes him say, I doubt it? Just give some clarification on that. But he didn't give any clarification. Whether or not the pizza delivery guy got fired, I think the guy is the asshole for even reporting it to the pizza delivery. Like, all the notes, like if the note would have said, "Hey, your boyfriend's here, we'll talk later," that's crazy, right? Report that guy. Even though that's still just insecurities. But that guy is just saying, "Hey, I'm sad that you weren't here. Are you okay?" He's worried about you because you're always at your door, you're always at your place when you order. I think the pollster is the asshole, which is weird for me to say that because I didn't think I was going to be siding with this guy. This is my first time reading the story, by the way. I say I just read the headlines and I wait for us to be recording so that I could give you my opinion. My true opinion, yeah. He's but there's something going on, man. There's something going on with the pizza delivery guy and the girlfriend. I mean, that's way too comfortable, way too friendly, right? I mean, I think he's hiding behind the mask of like he's just worried about her, just because he didn't see her this time. But that's way too comfortable, man. Interesting, interesting. I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. What is anybody else hearing the story? Like, what would you say? Who would you say is the asshole here? Would you say? I mean, for all I know, everybody's the asshole because for all we know, because we don't know anything unless it's written in the post. For all we know, the girlfriend and the guy, the pizza delivery guy, are also assholes because they're cheating or they have a relationship with um they have a relationship that's not including this the boyfriend or the poster, the one who posted the thing. So it could be everybody's the asshole because there would be the assholes for that, for cheating on the guy, and then but the guy who wrote the post is definitely the asshole for calling the pizza place. I don't even know what in your mind makes you think that that's a good idea. Like, you're gonna get him in trouble. Or do you think your girlfriend's gonna be like, "Oh, my hero"? Like, that? How is that? How? Oof. Uh, so it says here in the comments, it says, I might have gone out of line by making this decision and reporting him, especially with how upset my girlfriend was. I think I mishandled this and should have talked to my girlfriend about it. See, that's what like. He wrote that himself. So I think that's an excellent point, man. Um, Oof, this is a good one too. All right, we're gonna read one more, and then we'll call it a day. This will be the end of the end of the episode. Um, Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend feel uncomfortable after he insisted on joining us on a girls' night in? Ah, I think a lot of guys could be in this situation. I think a lot of guys have been in this situation. You guys know what I'm talking about. Just from the title, I haven't read it again. It's wow. This is a weird one. All right. So my boyfriend, male 27, started asking to join me in girls' night in. Every time I try to say no, he'd be like, "I have to join you, or you'll have to cancel." It made me and the girls miserable having to sit there with him in the middle. This past Friday, oh, so that happened. So it's happened multiple times. It's not just once. All right. Um, this past Friday, he insisted on joining us again, and I had enough. I had enough. I came up with the idea to get him to hate hanging out with us. I made a plan and told the girls what we were gonna do, and they were down for it. The girls came, and my boyfriend immediately sat with us and started ruining our conversations by steering them towards him slash his work slash his achievement. So here's what I did. I started bringing up gross, embarrassing subjects, and the girls were eating them up by talking about them in detail. Subjects like sex, periods. This is the most sensitive spot. Cramp diarrhea, hairy legs, fart getting trapped in the vulva. I didn't even know that vulva. I get it. I said it, but I didn't even know farts could get trapped in a vulva and coming out the front. Oh, the pussy fart. Mm. Squeezing shit out of our faces. Cramp diarrhea, dirty underwear, and again, cramp diarrhea. She literally wrote, and again, cramp diarrhea. What a what a topic to have without any of my female co-hosts. Because I have so many female. I've had so many female co-hosts throughout this show's history, and to not have any one of them for this, what a fucking all right. There's more. There's more. We talked about this stuff in boring detail. Like I could like I could feel his discomfort without even looking at him. But God, when I turned to see why he was so quiet, suddenly he was getting red in the face, and I had sweat, and he had sweat all over his forehead. I bet he found himself unable to relate to these topics, thus could not take part of the conversation. He got up from the couch, ready to head out. I looked at him and asked where he was going, and he was like, just I remember that I have an important meeting with a guy in about 10 minutes, and I have to go now. He rushed out, telling us to have fun. The girls and I laughed hysterically. He came home and berated me, saying I made him feel uncomfortable slash sick with the horrible subjects I kept bringing up. I said, "What are you talking about? This is typical stuff girls talk about all the time." But he insisted I made him upset and caused him to leave. He declined to speak to me and has been quiet ever since then. Am I the asshole? Uh Update. Wow. Just got home and saw this post in 70-ish comments. And here I am looking at hundreds of comments, but only read a bunch. You guys, thank you so much for your feedback and enlightening advice. Just to add context, this is his apartment. He tells me who is and isn't allowed to come, and I thought this was fine since it's his place, though I help with the bills, but he makes it so much more as that he makes so much more as head of security in his company. So that's that. So a lot of people were apparently asking, like, is this his place, their place? So apparently it's his place, but she helps with the bills. So their place, but he makes more money. So I just can't believe how dense and blind I have been to his negative ways. He's still giving me the silent treatment, and I've decided it's just a lot to take. So I'm temporarily moving in with one of the girls and will now be definitely reconsidering a few things. Just wanted to keep you guys updated since many of you got enraged in this post. Thank you so much for those DMing me with their concerns. Appreciate your time and concerns. Many hugs go out to you guys. I really appreciate y'all. A great topic. What a great topic. I wish any of the women that I have had on this podcast would come through for that. She is absolutely not the asshole. Absolutely not the asshole. Like you can't, it's your place. I get it, but you can't be like, I'm gonna say no, dude. You got to like. Here's the thing about relationships, all right? And I'm not a relationship guru by any stretch of the imagination, but you have to have time to yourselves. You have to have time together. Obviously, you spend a lot of time together, but you have to have your own time to yourself. She has to have her own time to herself. You got to hang out with your friends. She's got to hang out with your friends. It's got to be like a mix and match, and it's got to be. You can't if she wants to have a girls' night in, let her have the girls' night in, dude. And you're gonna get mad at her for. And to be fair, he was right. She did do that on purpose. He was right. He was accurate. Just waiting for the signal to pick back up. This is the first time in 50 minutes. There we go. We're getting back up. So he was factually actually accurate in the sense of like she did this on purpose. However, it was for a good reason, dude. You can't just be butting into other people's conversations and butting. I get it, it's your place, but that's not a thing, man. You got to let her have her own space. So she's definitely not the asshole. The asshole is definitely the boyfriend for getting upset at her. And from what the sounds of the update is, it may not be the boyfriend for much longer. So shout out to you for that. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Pretty good. All right, guys, we're at 50 minutes. That's almost an hour, right? We figured we did this. We got through it, guys. Shout out to Ray for coming in and commenting and helping me out there. Appreciate you, Ray, even though I called you Roy to begin with because I'm blind as a bat, even with glasses. But it's been a lot of fun. I actually had fun this week, which again, just keep doing this. It proves that I can do it. We can do it, man. Get out of your comfort zone. My comfort zone has been hanging out with my friends and doing and having co-hosts, and I still love that, and that's still going to be the show. But it's nice to know that I can do this. So thank you guys for checking us out. Oh, check out the other podcast, man. We've been doing. So I've been working a lot with Kickflix on Kickflix, and the Kickflix is the martial arts movie podcast, and we're gonna do one where we're all watching the movie together, even though we're not physically together. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be coming up. We're going to be planning that. But I will say this, even if you're not a fan of martial arts movies, go check out Kickflix. It's like Netflix, but with a kick. And go check that out because we have so much fun watching these movies. And a lot of these movies are terrible, like terrible movies, but we love them. We just did Big Trouble in Little China. We before that did the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So all of these movies, some of them are terrible. Revenge of the Ninja was hot garbage, but God, it was so good. And it was, by good, I mean it was good to be able to talk with friends in a joking manner, in a comedy way, talk about these movies lovingly. Like, we love these movies, but they're not good. Some of them, especially the older ones, don't age very well. So I would highly recommend you guys go check that out. This is my plea to you guys. Kickflix isn't on as often as WuBro is, because WuBro goes on every week live. This is proof of it. This episode is proof of it, because I didn't even have a co-host, but I came on. So Kickflix doesn't come on as often, but we're like at 20 episodes, 21 episodes, and we're having a lot of fun. And I hope you guys go and check it out and do that, because it is a tremendous amount of fun. Check that out. It's available everywhere. If you go to the Facebook and the Instagram and the YouTube, just search Kickflix. It's like Netflix, but with a kick. Flix. Kick Flix. And then you'll find us there. And we're on. We go live on YouTube. We go live on Facebook, just like we do here on WuBro. And then you can check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that include, but are not limited to, the Pero Let Me Tell You podcast, Chow Like a Best with Mike Valdez, the Shiver, the horror movie podcast, Cramacopia with Jeff and Q. So make sure you guys go check out those podcasts. We're having a lot of fun. And that's it. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming through and helping me out with your questions and comments there. Have a good one. That's how winning is done. Peace. We're looking.